Hello and greetings from World University and School. Like Wikipedia, now in 342 languages approximately, with MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages approximately, and Yale Open Yale courses, and Best Steam Creative Commons licensed OpenCourseWare as well. It's Monday, November 3rd, 2025. And as we wait to see if people will join this open weekly business meeting for World University and School WUaS, I'd like to share a little news with you. And in these regards, World University and School uh, two wings are again sharing the same root URL. The nonprofit 501c3 tax-exempt U.S. federal legal entity wing at worlduniversityandschool.org is the URL. You can see the tax ID numbers at the bottom. And the for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California wing, the academic press at World University and School, planned in 7,159 living languages, and the WUS Educational Services stores, potentially in 200 countries, both physically and digitally, in a realistic virtual earth for retail, and even with Stanford Mind Pi cryptocurrency, and in WUS partnering with Stanford Mind Pi cryptocurrency with a partnering email, and in WUS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people. This is a legal entity in the state of California again. These two wings are separate tax entities and legal entities, and yet they share the same root domain. How best to plan to code for both AI platforms and build them out, both wings, in 200 countries and in all 7,159 living languages, and potentially in WUS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number from you at World University, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/you at World University. Plan for 1 or 2 bank accounts still. And regarding developing the 501c3 in GuideStar, the candid GuideStar profile affiliated with the IRS, and possibly even multi-listing on the other hand, on the other wing, the WS Corporation on many stock exchanges, but starting with one stock exchange, one board or 2 boards, and in seeking to use AI in the boardroom. Perhaps some WUS boards for this will emerge further in communication with the Stanford Law Rock Center. And I've reached out to them recently regarding possibly Stanford law student interns working with Stanford faculty members, intern board members by Stanford Law, from Stanford Law, possibly. So this is World University and School in a Grow with Google WUAS weekly business meeting. And I've sent out the news and agenda for both today, 11/3, and next week, 11/10. Last week, I also sent out the news and agenda for today, 11/3. I sent it out on Sunday, October 26, 2025. And you'll find that, which we're working through today, in the Monday, 10/27/2025 blog posts with this agenda. And it's for you to be able to think about it a little bit, and so that WUS might invite feedback and your thinking in a variety of ways with these 7 or 8 days beforehand with the new agenda in hand. So greetings further from free MIT, free best Steam, CC OpenCourseWare, Wiki, Grow with Google WUaS, World University and School WUaS. WS continues to seek to grow from previous versions of OpenCourseWare. And you can find this in, for example, in the web URL opencw.apprende.org/courses/translated courses. And there are about 6 languages there, plus English, of MIT OpenCourseWare courses which have been translated. And you can also find at this URL, opencw.apprende.org/courses, about 38 departments that have emerged from MIT OpenCourseWare, from MIT itself. And both of these older previous versions of OCW, Creative Commons 4 licensed OCW, are what Wiki, World University and School seeks to grow from in part, and by potentially adding them with or developing them with artificial intelligence and machine learning and as large language models, and even with avatar agents or avatar bots, conversational generative artificial intelligence, with the lectures from the faculty members that are in video on both of these previous versions of OCW, for example. So this World University and School news and question and answer meets at 9 a.m. Mexico City time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, West Coast time, San Francisco Bay Area time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, US and Canada, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Western Europe, 10:30 p.m. India Time, and 1 a.m. Tuesday, the next day, Hong Kong Time. Please check your time converter from any of your 24 time zones to join this open WUaS weekly business meeting. And also, I'll post the recording of this to the current main YouTube channel, so you would have the opportunity to view it at a later time. There's a great opportunity to come into conversation about World University and School by joining these WUaS news and question and answers. And I invite you to do that. And WUS's next one will be November 10th, 2025, Monday, next week. So the agenda and news for today are in the blog posts beginning Mount Hood, Clackamas Wilderness, Oregon, posted on Monday, 10/27/2025 in World University and School.blogspot.com's blog, and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com's blog as well. Check them out as you might view this video as well. So are these WUaS weekly business meetings an innovating kind of unprogrammed friends, NTF, NTQ, Quaker monthly business meeting as a weekly business meeting? Perhaps. All the best, abolitionally, a best Steam, CC, OpenCourseWare, Wiki, World University and School. Hashtag WUaS abolition movement is growing. Read more about this in the blog post beginning scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/07, beginning Lotus Kamala Padma.html. So that's in the July blog posts in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, beginning Lotus Kamala Padma. Friendly NTF, non-theist friend, NTQ, non-theist Quaker, Quaker greetings. Scott. Scott GK McLeod. So the recording will be posted from today to youtube.com/Scott McLeod World University /video. In announcing this on Twitter and LinkedIn, I shared a MIT video titled "This is MIT." And it's just a 3 or 4 minute video showing lots of STEAM and STEM research that MIT does so remarkably: basic science, foundational science. And in the announcement for this WUaS weekly business meeting, I also said, this is best STEAM CC OpenCourseware in 7 languages, building on MIT OpenCourseware in 7 languages, with the URL opencw.aprende.org/courses/translated-courses, hashtag WUaS UNIVS. So World Universities and Schools, World Universities in 200 countries, and also hashtag wiki WUaS, wiki schools that World University is creating in all 200 countries, main languages, and potentially in all 7,159 known living languages. For people-to-people wiki, teaching, wiki learning, and also community building potentially. So check out that video. This is MIT from last week. And moving on to World University and School First Wing, the first of 2 wings, a 501c3 or similar nonprofit. And check out the guidestar.org profile, which I think is in development, guidestar.org/profile/27-3105368 is World University and Schools candid GuideStar profile. And regarding also us being Creative Commons licensed OpenCourseware focused, as this wing is, the World University and School nonprofit wing, and also wiki. That URL again is worlduniversityandschool.org. So the agenda item 0, the first, the minutes, the video recording of the previous week's World University and School weekly business meeting, beginning Mount Redoubt, Alaska, is posted from October 20th, 2025. Check it out. There's a focus on World University and School, a manifesto for universal free education that Anthropic Claude conversational generative AI created, a remarkable manifesto for universal free education created by artificial intelligence. So further, agenda item 1. So what are the next steps in coding the Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS World University and School listing? Candid GuideStar seems to be in development. They seem to be coding it, potentially with AI and machine learning too. And what are the next steps as they continue this coding regarding 501c3 World University and School, for again Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS, since Candid GuideStar provides information about 501c3s. And in World University and School, in the WUaS Corporation's case, a big and with two, or the for-profit general stock company in California at WUaS Press, the WUaS Corporation wing. And I included sending out the WUaS news and question and answer Aaron Andrews, who used to work for GuideStar some 10 years ago or so, and who's at Stanford working on philanthropic issues, and wondered how the candid GuideStar listing for World University and School might be developing. So I created a set of Twitter posts for this. How for hashtag Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS with the World University and School GuideStar profile to code for 501c3 World University and School.org as nonprofit WS universities, and e.g. for US government grants, say from grants.gov. And the big and with to the hashtag for-profit WUS Corporation, General Stock Company, legal entity in California at WS Press, with the website, the beginning website being worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. As GuideStar continues coding for 501c3s, for all its 501c3s, including World University and School.org, how will they take into account this other wing of World University and School, this other legal entity that complements our 501c3, World University and School? Will there be a possibility to learn about these next steps for Candid GuideStar coding forward as World University and School nonprofit builds out our websites, our platforms, and potentially in conversation with Stanford Law School even, so that legal issues will be codable for in developing the Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS platform. So there are a lot of implications of, for example, the second WUS wing, the for-profit WS Corporation, the WS Corporation, General Stock Company legal entity in the state of California, that Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS might seek to take into account as they code for nonprofits. Read more about this in the blog post from October of 2025, beginning Sociobil Lapwing Vanellus gregarius in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, 2025/10/sociable lapwing Vanellus gregarius. Agenda item 2. Another way of asking this, and per a question I asked at the last Stanford Law Rock Center event, webinar, on Board GPT using AI in the boardroom on October 10th, 2025, is how do you think ChatGPT, Board GPT would inform boards at 501c3 universities, such as Yale University or Harvard University, compared with boards at for-profit general stock companies that might be spin-offs out of Yale or Harvard, but are completely separate legal entities and not part of Yale or Harvard, for example. And how would ChatGPT or Board GPT or board members who were beginning to use Board GPT engage this question of two wings for World University and School sharing the same root URL still? So potentially from asking these questions, I got an invitation to go to a Stanford Law Rock Center presentation with on mandatory arbitration, SEC versus Delaware case, and there were some state of Delaware representatives there. The Chancellor of Delaware, the Delaware Chancellor, and the Secretary of State of Delaware a week ago, and was glad to be able to further pose these questions to them. It's possible World University and School will, both wings will seek to incorporate further. We're already 3 legal entities, but we might incorporate further in the state of Delaware, both on the 501c3 side and the for-profit general stock company in the state of California legal entity side. I also asked the panel at the October 10th Stanford Law Rock Center presentation, Board GPT using AI in the boardroom, if they would actually like to join the WUS board, one board or the other, or become the single board. And Priya Charian Huskins, who is was the moderator, also shared that she has expertise regarding board of directors and officers. So haven't heard back from any of them directly, but interesting to take these questions further regarding how to create World University and Schools boards as with our 2 wings and moving forward. And potentially on the WUS corporation side, even with physical digital WUS educational services stores in all 200 countries and in all languages. I think Walmart in 19 out of 200 countries, but where WUS seeks to be in all 200 countries, leaving about 181 further countries to grow into. And also with the academic press at WUS in 7,159 known living languages and seeking to emerge out of all 200 countries where speakers of these 7,000 languages live, and with machine learning and translation. And in a hashtag realistic virtual earth, a hashtag for everything. So a realistic virtual earth for everything. And see the first mention of a realistic virtual earth that I know of, besides by WUaS, in Peter Norvig's incredible hashtag Tulify AI WUS article, tulify.ai/AI-news/ revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI. World University in School, updated 3/2/2024. Will board members benefit from having knowledge or creating their knowledge of an emerging realistic virtual earth on both wings? Potential board members. And see also the blog posts in World University and School.blogspot.com at blog from October of 2025, beginning Nepenthes Cassiana, and the blog post in my blog, scott-mcleod.blogspot.com /2025/11/Mount Aniakchak, Alaska. Agenda item 3. In a blog post from October 21st, 2025, beginning Nepenthes, Northiana, I asked Gemini, having asked Gemini, would a generative world model, this is regarding creating a realistic virtual earth and all of us creating worlds within this realistic virtual earth, and having seen on Twitter much about generative world models, so this is presumably with AI and machine learning too. Gemini, I asked, would a hashtag generative world model be the best hashtag AI platform to develop hashtag a realistic virtual Harbin, hashtag realistic virtual Harbin, and hashtag realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal. And in hashtag G Street View with hashtag G Time Slider, hashtag G Cell, hashtag G Molecule levels. And e.g., see the YouTube video with regard to viewing Google Street View in a smart meeting room, and for a hashtag WUAS multimedia hospital room. And Gemini responded extraordinarily yes, and explained why. So a generative world model to inform a realistic virtual Earth, which interoperates with a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs and a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal that we could become part of in a WUAS multimedia hospital room, a WUS multimedia room, and think the YouTube video from Igloo Vision in Shropshire, England, how to view Google Street View in a smart meeting room, will all develop together in different ways with programmers and coders creating probably different aspects of these in specialized ways. So stay tuned, read more about it. Check out the Gemini reply. And you can read more about this again at scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/10/Nepenthes Northiana.html. Agenda item 4. Was glad to have attended a Stanford Medicine Continuing Medical Education CME talk on knee surgery, pediatric knee surgery, on Wednesday, I think, or on Saturday, October 18th. And regarding yoga asana, also a question that I asked of them as complementary therapeutic approaches. So it was a pediatric orthopedics and sports medicine webinar on Saturday, October 18th, 2025. And I asked the Stanford Medicine professor of surgery, Dr. Meadows, and all, in regard to possible complementary therapeutic approaches to surgery for knee injuries, and particularly for regarding yoga possibilities, and particularly interested in possibilities for my first cousin once removed in Burlingame, California, not far from Stanford, Alden Briscoe, who is in his late 80s and who got a knee injury playing sports when he was quite young and may still be in pain from this knee injury, and ACL, anthro cruciate ligament, I think, tear. I'm also interested at Free to Students online MIT Best STEAM Wiki World University and School of Medicine, seeking to emerge with Best CC open courseware too, and planned in each of all 200 countries and in their main languages to begin, and even brainstorming wise regarding telerobotic surgery and in a realistic virtual Earth for surgery. And that's a hashtag on Twitter and on LinkedIn, Twitter X. And again, think Google Street View with time slider, G maps at the G cell view level and the G molecule view level and the G atom view level. Hashtags on Twitter with TensorFlow AI, with little Pegman and G Street View becoming our avatar agent electronic health records, possibly for related hashtag digital, physical, robotic, and telesurgeries and surgical processes, potentially in the back of yoga Toyota ambulance vans. How to develop this realistic virtual Earth for surgery but also a realistic virtual earth for yoga asana for therapeutic reasons and teaching reasons, that might be an alternative to um, surgery, for example, and offer ways for people who are suffering from, say, knee injuries to even improve the health of their knee injuries in a way that surgery or allopathic medicine uh, doesn't have an answer for. And am also interested as a yoga teacher how I might help my cousin Alden Briscoe with yoga asana and in online classes from what I learned from this surgery uh, talk from Stanford Medicine CME. Agenda item 5. So this is about a quantum computer that Google has remarkably created, I think, and how to develop it virtually in a realistic virtual earth for quantum. So created a set of Twitter posts, LinkedIn posts, I think too, how to develop quantum computer, hashtag quantum computer, hashtag WUAS virtually, or hashtag WUAS digitally, or as hashtag WUAS simulation, and in hashtag realistic virtual earth for quantum, beyond hashtag digital quantum simulation, which are some approaches to simulating quantum phenomena. And so in a hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag G street view with hashtag G time slider, with hashtag TensorFlow AI, in potentially a hashtag smart meeting room, and potentially in the shop at hashtag Canyon 94516 even. So could one create a virtual quantum computer, the one that Google created in the middle of a room with smart TVs on all sides, coded for the qubit level, the Google qubit level, the atomic level, the molecular view level, the street view level, and begin to further develop quantum computing virtually, potentially as AI and machine learning would also be coded for this, and thus potentially inform a realistic virtual earth for quantum that might help us address questions even of consciousness in a new way, as a new frontier for the philosophical study of consciousness, of the mind-body problem in brand new ways, thanks to potentially the physical quantum computer that Google shaped, created, made, with a digital twin that would be accessible in the middle of a room. Stay tuned and check out more about this in my blog post, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/10/sparaxis tricolor.html. Agenda item 6. So recently there's been in the news the project of creating an AI ballroom, in a new ballroom in the East Wing of the White House, I think, in one wing of the White House in Washington, D.C. And I've been asking on Twitter, X, and LinkedIn how coding for a hashtag multimedia AI ballroom might work as also for coding for a WUS multimedia hospital room prototype, and even a yoga hall. And the White House ballroom is seeking to bring together numerous companies with great AI and machine learning wings to them together, even getting them, these huge companies, to donate $1 billion each, I think, to the project, so that all these companies with their remarkable computer science might create an AI ballroom that would have numerous applications in other ways. For example, even for at the cell view and the molecule view level and the atom view level, and might be scalable down to a WUS multimedia hospital room prototype, and scaled up to a stadium or larger. Could be used for filmmaking too, digital filmmaking in brand new ways, and for creating a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs, even as STEM and ethnographic field sites for brain science, with people in the actual Harbin hot springs warm pool wearing headbands, and in their home bathtubs wearing headbands that would help us understand further, as we built out the technologies for these headbands that would potentially give us, help us study the brain processes at the cellular and the molecular view levels in new ways, streamed into our avatar agent electronic health records, how we could even further study bliss, per Peter Norvig's incredible Toolify AI WUS article, where he mentions creating a virtual Harbin and for the study of bliss, STEM-wise. So how would coding for a multimedia AI ballroom open these other possibilities for research as well, and at a realistic virtual Harbin, and at World University and School in a realistic virtual Earth? And see again Peter Norvig's incredible Toolify AI WS article. So could the coding of such a ballroom in the East House, in the East Wing of the White House in Washington, D.C., as a multimedia AI ballroom, facilitate further the creation of a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal and for longevity, and as a WUS multimedia hospital room prototype? So we would like to create a WS multimedia hospital room prototype in Canyon 94516 that would then be something that hospitals, with all their computer science and AI and machine learning all over the US, teaching hospitals affiliated with universities, could work with and develop also for aging reversal and extreme longevity, for example, and numerous other reasons. Could we develop from this multimedia AI ballroom even a realistic virtual Earth for evolution, and for retail? Check out more about this in the blog post beginning Beaver Dam in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, from October of 2025. Agenda item 7. Coding a multimedia ballroom as a WS multimedia hospital room is something that could also be scalable, not only to large, to a stadium or even into space, but also into a digital mask, beyond, much smaller than a WS multimedia hospital room. So a set of Twitter posts in these regards too. Code with iterating hashtag White House AI Ballroom by hashtag top programmers from hashtag leading IT companies. A hashtag WUAS multimedia hospital room prototype in hashtag Canyon 94516, and potentially for studying bliss and at Virtual Harbin. Potentially project for my second Harbin Hot Springs ethnographic book. It might be even published from Google Street View with time slider text in the sidebar. So further, agenda item 8, I've been asking recently some yoga genetics questions. And regarding developing a hashtag yoga genetics conversation at World Univ and SCH. And regarding e.g. hashtag yoga genetics, this is hashtag yoga genetics > for performance, higher, faster, stronger athletics, and hashtag ethics. In my yoga hippie Angela yoga notation, scottmccloud.com /yoga notations.html. And for becoming more supple too. And you can read further about this yoga conversation in Red Hibiscus, a blog post beginning Red Hibiscus in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com /2025 /10 /Red Hibiscus. And at the World University and School wiki school or wiki subject page for yoga, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org /wiki /yoga. And in these regards, yoga genetics, can any genetic drug therapies today that are FDA approved affect physical processes such as running, jumping, or athletic movement for athletes? Or, for example, help Down syndrome people or autistic people? And further, can any genetic drug therapies help such people at this point with other physical movement questions? So I asked this of Gemini and again got a remarkable reply. How to move from emerging genetic drug therapies, potentially for performance, higher, faster, stronger athletics, plus more supple regarding yoga asana, to even aging reversal genetic drug therapies to help people who might be 90, 100 in their 110s with higher, faster, stronger muscle wasting reversal developments. And it seems like focusing on a yoga genetics conversation with the ethics aspect to it, and regarding higher, faster, stronger, more supple movement processes could be one very fruitful way for examining these questions of how to further develop yoga with aging reversal genetics, yoga genetics with aging reversal genetics with extreme longevity genetics, and for our physical bodies, as we might live longer than 122. Might we live to 150 in some of these regards? Stay tuned. So you can read more about this in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com /2025 /10 /calocortis persistence.html. So I asked Gemini AI further, what do yogis, hashtag Angela Farmer and hashtag Victor Van Koten, teach regarding yoga and the hashtag inner body, and going into feelings even, or meeting feelings yoga-wise? And also per a little characterization I wrote of Angela and Victor's yoga in scottmccloud.blogs, sorry, this URL, scottmccloud.com /av greetings.htm2. And Gemini gave me a great reply further. And I also asked, what is yoga for angela-victor.com? And Gemini also gave me an interesting reply. These would be aspects of yoga genetics developments, even with possible vaccines that would be FDA approved that would help in regards to yoga. Read more about this in my blog post beginning scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/Nepenthes-Northiana.html. Agenda item 9. I recently found a Chris Thiele, the MacArthur Grant recipient in 2012, a great concert title where he was playing in Scotland, in Glasgow, Scotland, in November of 2022. The concert is called Chris Thiele Concert Bootleg Glasgow, November 2022. It's a concert, you can see it. It just has images of riding a Scottish train, hashtag Scottish train, as the countryside and the ocean flow by. And it's an interesting artistic expression of visiting Scotland. And it's something Scott, I think Chris Thiele's middle name is Scott. I think he is potentially connecting with his Scottish ancestry here too. And I'm curious further how we might add the mandolin playing that is so remarkable and great and creative and exploratory in this video to the mandolin wiki subject page in the music school at World University and School, the mandolin music wiki subject page in the music school. So I added this Twitter post to the mandolin wiki subject page, this set of Twitter posts, and it's an opportunity to learn further about mandolin at World University and School with a great model, with the MacArthur Grant recipient, a MacArthur Genius Fellowship that Chris Thiele got, and how that might help be a teaching resource at World University and School. Agenda item 10, poetry and machine learning editing. So I recently asked about 5 different conversational generative AIs about how they would approach poetry editing with their machine learning, and got some great replies. I asked, I first learned that verse by verse AI, something Google is working on, might be an avenue forward, but they are not accessible yet, still in research. And I also asked how Microsoft's Copilot would approach editing poetry. Found some fascinating replies. Asked Gemini.google.com how it would approach poetry editing, as well as GPT-40 or 4.0, how it would approach poetry editing. Its initial reply is, great question. Editing poetry can feel a bit different than editing prose because it involves not just clarity of meaning, but also rhythm, sound, imagery, and emotional impact. Here's how I typically approach it. Feel free to pull from or adapt any parts you like. I also asked Anthropic's Claude AI how it would edit poetry. And as I posted the replies to the blog post beginning scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/10/Mount Aniakchak.ak. So from November of 2025, Mount Aniakchak blog post beginning with that. And I'm curious further, having published 4 books of poetry, for example, how I might even explore these and which ones first. I've been working with Gemini conversational generative AI much, but for particularly the very short book of poetry, Haiku-ish, that I wrote some years ago, how would perhaps comparatively these generative conversational AI as poetry editors respond even differentially to editing one short, brief poem that I might add, or each haiku-ish in a variety of different ways. So the other wing of the WUaS, of World University and School, the WUaS Corporation, second of two WUaS wings, for an academic press in 7,159 languages with machine learning. The website address is worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. WS Corporation and board and AI platforms. Again, I return to the board GPT, Stanford Law Rock Center webinar in these regards, but also when I wrote this, an upcoming Stanford Law Rock Center webinar or set of presentations in the Stanford Law School, which I went to, was going to occur, called Mandatory Arbitration, Delaware versus the SEC, What Boards Need to Know. And in going to that this past week, I was able to ask both the state of Delaware's Delaware Chancellor and the state of Delaware's Secretary of State about these two wings of World University and School. But returning to the board GPT meeting online, which the Stanford Law Rock Center mandatory arbitration, Delaware versus the SEC, what boards need to know, was moderated by Priya Cherry and Huskins, and both the following lawyers were also there talking about this process. Greg Verallo, Jeff Mahoney, Joe Grundfest, Stanford Emeritus Professor, and I asked them further in an email afterward, how could AI and machine learning and large language models help regarding some of the contentious issues of, or the issue of finding an arbitrator, a single person, to moderate this issue is something that comes back again and again in such legal situations. How could AI and machine learning and large language models help here regarding questions of choosing an arbitrator in the future? And further, I asked them in growing Best STEAM, CC OpenCourseWare, World University and School, the WS Corporation, both planned in 200 countries and for speakers of all 7,159 known living languages, and potentially in WS coding for all 7.9 billion people on the planet from here, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/u@World University, and to create wiki people-to-people free universal education, and to distribute a single main cryptocurrency like Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency, free money daily, which you can get now here at mindpi.com/SGKMAC with the invitation code SGKMAC, and to end poverty worldwide. I wondered further how all of you on today's panel might think through how both wings of WUaS would interoperate together legally, financially, and regarding WUaS boards of directors, and created a set of Twitter posts in these regards, also on LinkedIn. Haven't heard back from them directly, but I did go to a further Stanford Law Rock Center set of presentations with the Delaware Chancellor and the Secretary of State from this Delaware there, who talked about some issues of incorporating in Delaware, and it's something World University and School is exploring further. If we were to incorporate further as a 501c3 on the one hand, and possibly as a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California on the other hand, and develop boards for this, perhaps the questions that I have would become clearer in even the filing process for becoming these legal entities in conversation with Stanford Law Rock Center, for example. Agenda item B2 on the WS Corporation wing and regarding WUS retail encoding a multimedia AI ballroom as a hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for everything. See the Beaver Dam blog post from Saturday, October 25th in these regards. So coding a hashtag multimedia AI ballroom as a hashtag WS multimedia hospital room prototype and hashtag yoga hall and hashtag realistic virtual harbin and regarding incredible hashtag Toolify AI WUS article, scalable to a stadium or space even. How to develop it for retail? Could we create as a digital twin, for example, in Google Street View with Time Slider retail such that it would open up new avenues for World University and Schools WS educational services stores getting books and robotics and computers and even groceries to our prospective students. Stay tuned. This is something that as we seek to sell in our WS educational services stores, for example, 3 Lego robotics kits, where WS is authorized reseller of 3 Lego robotics kits. Would we find our way to being able to let people experiment in a very initial way in WS educational services stores configured with AI and ML with in Google Street View with Time Slider with Lego bricks, having each Lego brick being configured to become each virtual Lego brick being configured to become a digital twin of actual physical Lego bricks, and such that prospective students could explore making Lego robotics builds in our WS educational services stores, our physical digital, in this case, digital WS educational services stores, to learn AI and ML and robotics further out of developing a hashtag multimedia AI ballroom regarding the recent project in the White House to build the ballroom on one wing anew. And check this out further in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/10 beginning beaver-dam. So that's the news and question and answer for WS Weekly Business Meeting on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. For the agenda and news that is now posted on Monday, October 27th, 2025, last week, in the blog posts beginning Mount Hood and Clackamas Wilderness, Oregon. Check those out. I'll post the recording of this to our main active YouTube channel, which is it's youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University /videos. And I'll post the recording of this also to our main Twitter feeds, twitter.com or x.com/ WORLDUNIVANDSCH, and x.com/WUAS Press. And until then, till next week, 11:10. I'll also post this to the main blog post for today, which are begin Togiak National Wildlife Refuge on November 3rd, Monday. And I'll post the video recording to last week's blog posts, beginning Mount Hood, Clackamas Wilderness. So until next week, Monday, 11/10/2025. I welcome your feedback and your thinking over social media, in email. Similar, if you have WUAS news or thoughts, please let me know at World University and School at gmail.com. Until next week, 11:10, take care, and see you online. Bye for now.